Your kids think you're cool?
Blue, she be fronting on me a little bit, but I catch her.
And when you see, there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold their souls.
A leaked family video of Beyoncé and Blue Ivy wasn't just an accident, it was a detonation. And the Carters' $2.5 billion empire is now scrambling to contain the fallout. What first appeared to be a harmless behind-the-scenes clip has become a cultural earthquake. The footage, allegedly recorded during the 2024 Super Bowl weekend, shows Beyoncé off-camera, visibly tense, while Jay-Z ushers Blue Ivy and Rumi toward a field photo op that now feels less like family pride and more like a calculated performance. What was meant to project unity has instead exposed the machinery behind their image.
She did such a beautiful job, and I can't believe how natural she is, and I'm just proud of you. I'm so proud of you, and I can't believe how big and grown up you are. And I'm proud that she's gonna represent so many young brown girls around the world.
The timing couldn't be worse. That same weekend, Jay-Z was everywhere, posing with the twins, smiling for photographers, celebrating his wife's achievements. But within days, the footage that would later leak began circulating privately among industry insiders. It reportedly showed a moment of friction, Blue Ivy crying off camera, Beyoncé whispering something to an aide, and Jay-Z turning away from both. For a family that has built its brand on discipline and perfection, it looked like a crack in the glass. Only months earlier, Beyoncé had told GQ that her priority was giving her children as much normalcy and privacy as possible. She described herself as fiercely protective, committed to boundaries, focused on peace. That quote is now being replayed everywhere, contrasted against the leaked clip's uncomfortable tension. It wasn't parenting, critics say, it was management. The tone, the control, even the silence inside the clip feel deliberate, as though everyone knew the cameras were still rolling, but couldn't quite stop the performance. Carter's control of narrative has always been legendary. From the secrecy of their 2008 wedding to the carefully choreographed intimacy of Lemonade, they've mastered the art of exposure without vulnerability. But in December 2024, when a civil case surfaced accusing Jay-Z of misconduct alongside Sean Combs, that control began to fracture. Jay-Z denied the allegations immediately, calling them heinous and fabricated. Yet the timing of the leak, insiders note, lines up with the weeks following that lawsuit. The theory is simple. The video was meant to disappear because it conflicted with the family's public show of solidarity during a legal storm.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right?
Just one day after the suit went public, the entire family appeared on the red carpet for the Los Angeles premiere of Mufasa, The Lion King. Beyoncé glowed in gold, Blue Ivy beamed beside her, and Jay-Z looked like a man unfazed by scandal. Cameras captured Tina Knowles standing close, smiling tightly. Behind that calm, however, sources say Beyoncé's team had entered what one insider called a media lockdown. Publicists were told to deny access, social staff were instructed to filter comments, and anyone who mentioned the lawsuit risked losing future privileges. The family's focus was on projecting normalcy while quietly suffocating anything that could undermine it. What the public didn't know was that the footage now circulating online may not have been a candid leak at all. Sources close to Parkwood Entertainment claim the clip came from a shelved 2023 documentary project, a private family-style film intended to follow Beyoncé's Renaissance tour. Early versions reportedly included emotional interviews and unguarded footage, including one scene where Beyoncé broke down over Jay-Z's repeated infidelity. The film was canceled without explanation and the material was locked away. If that's true, the current leak could be part of that abandoned project resurfacing through a back-channel sale. The connection between that scene and Blue Ivy's distress has fueled speculation that the moment wasn't about a child's tantrum, but a mother reliving betrayal. Industry chatter points to the December allegations as the moment Beyoncé drew a hard line. She was said to be furious that Jay-Z's past had once again become public property, especially when her next major project, Act 3 of the Renaissance trilogy, was designed to finalize her rebrand as an unshakable matriarch. According to a PR consultant who's worked with both Roc Nation and Disney, Beyoncé's directive was clear: protect the family, silence the noise. Everything else can burn. That tone explains why, even as the internet questioned Jay-Z's innocence, the Carters presented a united front. Her hand on his chest, Blue Ivy in the middle, a picture of perfection under duress.
The family out tonight is a family affair. I saw your mother-in-law so proud of.
Yeah, we support each other.
But behind the unity, cracks kept spreading. When the lawsuit was dismissed in February 2025, Jay-Z issued a victory statement, calling the claims fictitious and appalling. He said the trauma his wife and children endured could never be dismissed. The words read like closure, but observers noticed the absence of Beyoncé's voice. She made no public comment, didn't repost the statement, and reportedly skipped several scheduled appearances afterward. For someone known to control every image that reaches the public, her silence spoke louder than any defense. Then came the whispers from former Parkwood staff. The footage, they said, wasn't leaked accidentally. It was shared intentionally by someone trying to expose what had been erased. They claimed the original documentary painted a very different portrait of the Carters, one that revealed exhaustion, mistrust, and a marriage built on necessity rather than affection. If this was buried to protect their image, one former editor allegedly told colleagues, what else did they erase? That question has become the obsession of online investigators, who are now combing through years of tour footage and interviews, looking for inconsistencies, clipped moments, micro-expressions.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
The narrative of Jay-Z and Beyoncé as an untouchable power couple has survived infidelity, conspiracy rumors, and even an elevator fight that nearly ended it all. But the current scandal feels different. It's not about art or image. It's about whether the entire story of their marriage has been a brand strategy. Insiders familiar with Roc Nation describe their relationship as contractual stability, where love is less important than alignment of interests. The alleged 2018 vow renewal, filmed during the On the Run 2 tour and projected to millions as proof of reconciliation, now looks suspiciously like a stage set. The all-white outfits, the children present, the glowing text that read, "This is real love." It played perfectly on screen, but according to those who worked on the production, the footage was shot weeks apart with separate schedules for Beyoncé and Jay-Z. That detail alone has reignited old questions. Were they already living separate lives by 2018? Was the vow renewal a public reset, not a private celebration? The people who were there claim it was business. They say the emotional gestures were rehearsed, the smiles directed by camera cues, and the footage selected only for what matched the myth. The Carters wanted the world to believe they had survived the storm. Now, with the resurfacing of a single, unfiltered moment between Beyoncé and her daughter, that myth is breaking open. And the real question isn't whether they're happy. It's whether they're even telling each other the truth.
I felt like, they had a whole lot of potential. Jay was more quiet. But I mean, I learned that Jay was being quiet because he was taking notes. He was taking notes, observing everything, taking it all in, because, sometimes you're around and you're watching to see things to do.
Jay-Z's 2017 444 confession, "I apologize, our love was one for the ages and I contained us," wasn't just an album track. It was a legal time bomb. Back then, most of us heard remorse. Now, through the lens of that leaked footage, it reads like preemptive damage control. When Beyoncé released Lemonade the year before, the world treated it as art therapy, a brilliant woman transforming betrayal into empowerment. But what if those lyrics weren't catharsis? What if they were a coded negotiation, a public ceasefire and a private war between two billionaires who needed each other to survive? Looking back, the Lemonade era feels less like a love story and more like a PR chess match. Jay-Z responded with 444 not because he wanted forgiveness, but because he needed proof of accountability before certain contracts renewed. Insiders now point to a clause in their shared business portfolio that required public image alignment after any scandal impacting the family brand. If that's true, the apology we heard was as strategic as it was emotional. It wasn't a man confessing, it was a mogul protecting assets.
Beyonce's really pregnant.
Right.
People gonna believe what they want to believe anyway, so, why waste my time?
And sometimes you respond to something that brings way more attention to it, too.
That too, and it's just, it goes into another space, and then you just like, oh, y'all not listening to me.
Then came the On the Run 2 tour in 2018, the so-called vow renewal that reignited faith in their marriage. The footage showed matching white outfits, candles, and the twins watching as their parents embraced. But several former staffers now allege that moment was filmed long after the supposed ceremony. According to two production sources, the shoot was added when rumors of a split threatened ticket sales. The goal, they say, was to reclaim the story before tabloids did. They needed to remind everyone that Beyoncé forgave him, one former videographer reportedly explained, even if that forgiveness was staged.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
What's striking is how every public reconciliation has coincided with private crisis. The 2024 lawsuit against Jay-Z came just as Beyoncé prepared to release new music and relaunch her brand as a cultural matriarch. His legal battle risked collapsing the illusion of stability she'd built since Lemonade. So when the case was dismissed in February 2025, Jay-Z called it a victory, writing that the allegations were fictitious and that his family's suffering could never be dismissed. But inside the industry, few believed it was over. The timing of the video leak only weeks later looked too coordinated to ignore. If this was a true leak, it came from someone with access and motive. Some insiders suspect that the leak wasn't meant to destroy Jay-Z at all. The real target, they claim, was Beyoncé. Within the inner circle, there's a theory that the video was payback from a disillusioned member of her own creative team. Someone who felt that Beyoncé's perfection had become its own kind of cruelty. In that view, the footage exposes her not as the victim of fame, but as its engineer. The woman who preaches privacy allegedly turns her family into a product, every emotion rehearsed, every smile monetized. It's the paradox of her power. The more she controls, the less authentic she appears.
And then you have celebrities like a Jay-Z. And this is where I think the whole fallout with the Beyoncé, she's just kind of in the crosshairs because of all of what's going on in the media with respect to Jay-Z and stuff. But with Jay, you know, when he complained at the Grammys about the Grammys not giving Beyoncé Artist of the Year, when she's the most decorated Grammy-winning artist ever, we invited him to be honored at our award show.
And now the conversation is shifting. Fans who once defended her unconditionally are asking whether her need for control has trapped her family in a perpetual performance. Blue Ivy's growing visibility on stage, in film, even at award shows, was supposed to symbolize legacy. Instead, after the leak, it reads differently. A daughter rehearsed into the brand before she's old enough to choose it. When we see her on red carpets, are we witnessing pride or pressure? The question is uncomfortable, but it lingers over every frame of that leaked clip.
How excited is your husband about this baby?
You can only imagine and multiply that. It's like the time can't come fast enough.
I think you should enjoy this time while you can.
I'm trying my best, but I'm still anxious. I want to hold the baby.
The leaked video isn't just about Beyoncé and Blue Ivy, it's about the twins, Rumi and Sir, who have long existed in the controlled shadows of their sister's fame. While Blue has been steadily introduced to the public as a performer and brand ambassador, the younger two were supposed to represent the family's private heart. Yet insiders claim the footage includes brief, unguarded moments where Beyoncé scolds her staff for letting the twins wander off schedule, snapping about lack of discipline during what should have been a casual family interaction. It's not physical aggression or chaos, it's something colder, the tone of a boss, not a mother, managing a brand built on the illusion of effortless warmth. For years, fans believed Beyoncé's quiet protection of Rumi and Sir was proof of her maternal boundaries. But those who have seen portions of the unreleased footage describe a different reality. One where the children's daily routines are timed, rehearsed, and filmed with precision, rivaling a music video set. Their education, their playtime, even their silence are reportedly orchestrated to align with the family's aesthetic. One former assistant allegedly told a confidant that the twins weren't allowed to cry during filming days, a phrase that sounds exaggerated until you remember the Carter's empire depends on the appearance of divine composure.
When I get home, I'm like, completely lazy. I don't want to clean. I don't want to do anything but try to recover. It's my job to give 100%, and I feel like, you know, I've been allowed to do what I love for so long. I love my job, so the least I can do is give my all. You know, you do the same thing.
If that's true, the implications stretch far beyond celebrity parenting. We're seeing what happens when the pressure to maintain myth collides with the natural chaos of childhood. The Carter twins are growing up in an environment where the slightest tantrum risks becoming a headline, where emotion itself becomes a liability. In this sense, the leak feels less like a scandal and more like a psychological snapshot, a rare glimpse of what it costs to raise heirs inside a narrative that allows no imperfection. The empire feeds on image, and even the youngest are learning that love comes with performance clauses. Observers up close to the family point out that the twins' occasional public appearances on stage for Cowboy Carter or in Ivy Park promotions now look like subtle indoctrination into the brand. They're not being shielded from fame, they're being initiated. Every costume, every camera angle, every choreographed smile reinforces the idea that belonging to this family means contributing to its myth. It's not exploitation in the traditional sense, it's conditioning. And the more we learn about how carefully those moments are managed, the harder it becomes to believe that the children's privacy is truly protected. Ultimately, the question isn't just what Beyoncé and Jay-Z are hiding, it's what they're teaching. If Blue Ivy is the blueprint of the next Carter dynasty, Rumi and Sir may be its prototypes. Raised in an ecosystem where affection and control are indistinguishable, The leaked footage doesn't merely challenge their parents' image, it exposes the cycle of legacy itself. In trying to craft a perfect brand, the Carters may have created a dynasty that cannot breathe without an audience, and now the world is watching to see if the next generation ever learns how to live beyond the lens.
Jay-Z, over the course of his career, and I have to still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
Meanwhile, Jay-Z's empire faces its own quiet reckoning. His partnerships with the NFL and LVMH remain intact, but analysts note the subtle withdrawal of major advertisers from projects tied to his name. It's not a collapse, just a cautious retreat. Insiders describe the current mood at Roc Nation as tense silence. Everyone's waiting to see what comes next. Beyoncé, we're told, has tightened security, increased non-disclosure agreements, and ordered internal audits of all content archives. It's a fortress mentality. Precisely the kind of control that fuels the public suspicion that something inside that empire is unraveling. In a way, this moment feels like the end of the Carter myth as we knew it. The story that began with Bonnie and Clyde's swagger has dissolved into damage control, whispered betrayals, and the slow erosion of trust. Yet the irony is that every scandal only expands their legend. For all the outrage and speculation, people can't look away. The world built them into icons of unity, and now it's addicted to watching that illusion fracture. And the Carters built an empire on secrecy. But the video didn't just expose their lies, it proved their greatest fear. The world is watching, and the next leak could be worse. What happens if the footage we haven't seen yet is even darker? What if the brand they built to protect their family ends up consuming it? We'll be here watching, because in the empire of image, every silence tells a story. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and remember, in Hollywood, perfection always comes at a price.